Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Thank you, KK. Phil and Ryan, listen up, Ryan, a late night Tuesday podcast. And we hope everybody checks in with us late this Tuesday or tomorrow on the drive to work, a Wednesday morning, last day of April. I appreciate you, Ryan, as we, for the final time, come on in April of 25 as we inch closer to that new start of the 25-26 season for the UConn women's basketball team. But Ryan, first it was Nika Mule. Now you hit me up today and you told me, Phil, more bad news for a former UConn Husky. I don't like this, Ryan. Even though we want it all, right? We still want good news. I know that's the way life is. We're not always going to get good news. You told me that. But again, Ryan, let's go over to the index. Multiple sources tell us that a former UConn Husky star, that is, will undergo surgery, knee surgery. And I know we were looking, maybe we can break this down further. I'm trying to confirm or not. Maybe someone can comment in the section below because we received comment, at least one comment earlier in a couple videos ago, if you remember, about this former UConn Husky, and you're going to tell us who it is. But Ryan, I'm trying to figure out, is she going to miss the whole WNBA season like Nika Mule did?
Yeah, I mean, I,
Or
I
like
would assume
Nika
so,
Mule
but
is rather, like she is.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's really unfortunate for Aubrey, and like you mentioned, we already lost one former Husky and Nika Mule. Now with the Seattle Storm, unfortunately, Nika won't be able to play this season. We know that for sure, and of course, now we received news that Aubrey Griffin will undergo surgery on her left knee, and I'm gonna assume that she's not gonna be able to play with
Hmm.
Minnesota in her rookie season. I don't really see how she can come back this year from a surgery like that. But we'll keep our hopes high. We'll keep looking for news as they, I would assume, post more updates about her surgery and the injury. But it's just unfortunate for Aubrey, and this is all too familiar for her. She had two ACL injuries and a season-ending back surgery while at UConn. She was able to come back, of course, this past season in January and play in UConn's championship run or during that run. So, I'm glad Aubrey was able to experience that. She was such a great player for the Huskies. She deserved that title as much as anyone for UConn. And I'll say the same thing as I did for Nika Mule. I really hope this isn't a bad sign of things to come for Aubrey, definitely given her injury history. So I just hope that Aubrey is able to come back yet again from, I'm going to assume, another season-ending surgery. And hopefully, she's not able to return this season for the Link. Hopefully, she can return next year with them and begin her rookie season. But it's really unfortunate because I she wasn't really expecting to hear her name called during draft night just a couple of weeks ago, and to her surprise, in that late third round, getting drafted to Minnesota, I think a perfect fit for her. And now, unfortunately, of course, we received that comment about her not playing in training camp. So, this news kind of explains that now as why she wasn't in that training camp for Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you this, like I did before, the case with Nika Mule missing the whole season coming up. What do you think about this Minnesota roster? I know we don't cover the WNBA a lot, but now we kind of have to talk about it. Focusing this episode around Aubrey Griffin possibly missing the full season coming up, and then of course her being in the W now. I mean, when you look at it, you said it right. They're building kind of like a mini Husky team there. I mean, you have players, former UConn Huskies like Nafisa Collier, right? You have Dorka Juhas. You have who else? Of course, Diamond Miller. She went to Maryland. And then you also have, it was one more that went to UConn, Kristen Williams. So, Ryan, but
Yeah.
again, to me, they're so stacked. And when I say stacked, maybe um, favoring UConn even more, former Huskies, that is, because we love UConn basketball, right? So, but they have a lot of former UConn players Now, I'm not going to say that Aubrey Griffin doesn't provide an impact because she does. We all know what comes from Aubrey Griffin, right? What she brings. But man, when you look at this roster, I think they're pretty much set. They're still set. Like Minnesota's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and I believe Minnesota got to the conference finals. I think they made a pretty deep playoff run last
Mhm.
year, and that was a big part into Nafisa Collier. I think she won Defensive Player of the Year last year. She had a great season. Definitely expecting the same thing out of her for Minnesota this year. And of course, Dorka kind of have an up and down ride, but I'd say last year she played pretty well. So, at least we'll be able to cover her. I'm hoping a little bit during her journey with Minnesota as she continues to kind of ramp up her minutes and be in that starting lineup, hopefully for the Link. And of course, that's Dorka Juhas and Kristen Williams. Excited to see her play. She was a great player for UConn, so hopefully she'll be able to contribute for Minnesota this season. But I think for the Link, of course, this is unfortunate news for them. But I still think I agree with you. Their roster seems pretty stacked, and I'm definitely expecting them to be able to be in the playoffs and possibly make another deep run again.
We are expecting Minnesota, yes, to be one of the top teams in the W this year. Right, let's go over to comments. Philip Simpson says Sarah Williams would be a welcome addition, but I don't hear a lot of conversation about what a healthy Ducharme means for this already awesome roster.
Yeah, it's a really good point, and we've had a couple episodes on Caroline. I'm super glad she was able to come back this year. Played a couple games there down the stretch, and I'm glad she's now a national champion. So, she's going into her last year now, I believe, for UConn, unless she has another year of eligibility after this because of all her unfortunate injuries and all the games that she's missed now with UConn. But I talked about before a couple years ago that immediate impact she had when she arrived as a freshman, had a great freshman season, and ever since then she's been dealing with these injuries, her head and neck injuries, and hopefully this off season she's fully recovered from that and she's able to come back this year and have a spectacular season.
This is a new username. Again, we appreciate everybody that comes through all the time and checks us out. And regulars, like Jason D'Amico, we have to include his name when we talk about regulars, right? Char Williams said, I believe Sarah Williams will go to UConn. And while we're on this topic, right, I mean, it's kind of interesting. Now, again, it's still early, but man, don't you think there may have been a new name out of that portal by now? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I actually did see earlier today that UConn is going to be hosting Sarah Williams and USC transfer
Ooh.
Kaylee Heckle. So, I think that's pretty good news. It seems like pretty good news. So, hopefully, one, if not both of those players will be able to come to UConn and UConn can get them. I know we talked a lot about Sarah Williams, and there's been a lot of rumors with her connected to UConn, but Kaylee Heckle from USC kind of seems like a new name. So UConn hosting both of them. Hopefully, both of those meetings and visits go well, and hopefully, we'll receive some news here in the next week or so.
Jason D'Amico, KK, Ash, and Jaina will be fine. They're going to grow with their skills and their roles. In my opinion, the X factor is going to be Morgan Shelley. Before she left from injury, she was showing improvement with every game. She is bigger and stronger than she looks and can move bodies around in the paint as well as perform well from all three levels. She just might have a breakout sophomore season. Peace.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to agree with that one. I think Morgan's a great player. She definitely showed a little promise there in the mid portion of the season. She got more minutes from Gino off the bench, about 10 minutes per game. I would say she was averaging there at one point, and unfortunately, she went down with that injury and was out for the rest of the season. So, yeah, hopefully she can come back strong and 100% healthy for her sophomore season. And yeah, I think she showed a lot of promise in those games. She was able to play. And I definitely agree with Jason. I think she could be that underdog candidate for a breakout season.
One more, Rive. One more. I like everybody's comments, but this one is interesting. Gary Roundtree, thank you so much, Gary. He said, "Hi, let's be real on the players. I'm a Husky fan. NCAA champions 2025, the best. Number one." That's right, Rive. That's right. Number one, Jana must work on her shooting around the basket and foul line and develop moves off season. Seriously. Number two, KK is fast and no joke on defense. Cool, but she needs to improve serious on her shooting outside and around the basket. A must. If she can, she will be unstoppable to guard. Shades 3. Her jumper can be more deadly and work on it. Also, off season, seriously. And get Williams from Wisconsin. Now I like to go for a deadly shooter, 54% from outside. With AZ, UConn will do it again. Right, I love it. We're already talking about that discussion about back to back.
Yeah, that's a great comment. Yeah, I mean, they definitely are going to have the talent to do it again. Yeah, I agree with all three things you said about all those players. I think Janet just needs to keep developing. KK definitely could work on her offensive game, although I think we have seen it steadily improve now the past two seasons. And Ash, I think she's been improving defensively, and I think she could kind of sharpen up her jumper as well.
No, all right, Ryan, I'll leave it at that. And the month of May, they call it the month of May is the gateway to summer. Rye, prepare for the heat. And this is the final time. I'll see you in April as we turn the calendars to May. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.